Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Now today I'm going to be going over the top 10 central mid or attacking midfielders of the Premier League era. This list was pretty hard to do and I did actually try and work it into a top 20, but I think 10 is probably about fair really. It's a difficult one to really choose from. So yeah, I'm going to crack on top 10 midfielders I believe from the Premier League era. So number 10, James Milner. Now, James Milner's always been a very underrated player. He's done a very good job at Man City when called upon, and at Liverpool, if you'd have said when they first signed him on a free transfer especially he'd be this good, people would have been very surprised. Milner seems to get better with age as well. He seems to have got better as time has gone on. Absolutely brilliant player, and very underrated by a lot of people, Milner, I must say. And yeah, for me, he's comfortably in the top 10, I'd say, of Premier League midfielders of the Premier League era. So yeah, I'd definitely go Milner at number 10. I think that's a fair enough one. Number 9, Tim Cahill. Now, Tim Cahill's had a very good Premier League time at Everton. I was a big fan of Tim Cahill. Always reliable. I mean, it's arguable you can say Tim Cahill's more of a second striker, but I'd say he was an attacking midfielder more than anything, Cahill. Yeah, big goals for Everton, and they signed him for an absolute bargain from Millwall as well. A truly great signing, really. Probably the best signing David Moyes has ever made, in my opinion. Always enjoyed watching Cahill, and I never get tired of watching that goal he scored at the 2014 World Cup against Holland for Australia. And yeah, he scored so many important big goals for Everton. Shame he never managed to win a trophy with Everton, but he was a very good player there, and certainly one I enjoyed watching. He's a difficult player to dislike, Tim Cahill, and I think he deserves a place in the top 10. Number 8, Kevin De Bruyne. Now, Kevin De Bruyne arguably should be higher than this, but I think he hasn't really been in the Premier League maybe long enough. Yeah, he's been in it about 5 seasons now, but a couple of them seasons have been quite injury prone. So, and the first season he was more of on the wing as well, I'd say, under Pellegrini. But no, definitely De Bruyne has been excellent in the last couple of seasons. He's well on way to breaking some great assist record as well. Huge fan of Kevin De Bruyne. Think he's been excellent in the Premier League era and since he came into it. Of course, he had a disappointing spell with Chelsea, but at Man City he's been nothing but excellent, especially in the last few seasons as well. Yeah, De Bruyne, yeah, he's just brilliant to watch as well. He can do so many great things. Absolutely brilliant to watch. He's a fantastic playmaker. Number 7, Juan Mata. Now, Juan Mata, of course, his best days are behind him now, but it's not easy to forget Juan Mata, especially for Chelsea, was an excellent player to watch and twice won Chelsea's Player of the Year, won the Champions League and the Europa League with Chelsea. Mata's, again, a player it's very hard to dislike, just a true professional. And yeah, he's just been very, even at Manchester United, okay, his playing days may not have been as good as Chelsea. He still scored a fair few goals, including an excellent performance he once did at Anfield when Manchester United won 2-1 there back in March 2015. But yeah, Juan Mata just generally is a great pro, and especially his days at Chelsea and even Man United, he's been a terrific Premier League player. And yeah, I think it'd be difficult to not say he's in the top 10 of all time. Number 6, Yaya Toure. Now, Yaya Toure he had his off days, Yaya Toure. That's one thing I will say about him. When he was bad, you could really see the flaws in him, but what a player Yaya Toure was. And the season that always sticks out is that 2013-14 season when Yaya Toure scored 20 Premier League goals and 9 Premier League assists. Toure just completely ran the show that season. Toure was always a brilliant player, a big game player for Manchester City. Scored in the FA Cup final, which they won their first trophy in a long time. Scored a couple of vital goals away at Newcastle in the 2011-12 Premier League season, in a vital game before they won the title. And also he just scores generally some big goals. He's a big game player, Yaya Toure, in my opinion as well. Yeah, I'd say Toure easily deserves a place comfortably in the top half of this. But yeah, excellent player, and yeah, shame his Man City career kind of faded out at the end, but when he was good, he was very good, that's for sure. Number 5, Cesc Fabregas. Now, what a terrific player this man was in his day. Arsenal's best player for a few years, as he's very, very good at Arsenal. I still believe his best days were at Arsenal, especially between about 2009 to 2008, I'd say, till 2011, before he left. He was absolutely excellent, and even at Chelsea in that 14-15 season where he won the Premier League title, just, it's a terrific playmaker, many Premier League assists, and just completely, ran the show at times from centre midfield. Such a good player to watch, and passing range that really was just scary at times at Arsenal. So, yeah, brilliant player. I mean, as an Arsenal fan, yeah, I do miss Cesc Fabregas at times, just for how good he really was. Number 4, David Silva. Again, another player you just cannot dislike, David Silva, it seems. Even if you really don't like Manchester City, David Silva is a player who just has respect of all areas, really. A great player. He's signed for Man City in January 2011, and he's still there now. This should be his last ever season, depending what happens, of course, with this pandemic. Whatever happens there, this could well be his last few games for the club. But no, David Silva, what a Premier League career this man has had, and he's just a brilliant player to watch, Silva, and he's never dropped, never dropped in standard. He's still probably the same player he was when he first joined, and for me, David Silva's actually got better as he's gone along in the Premier League. But yeah, terrific player to watch, and just never get bored of watching David Silva. Absolutely excellent player. I'd say comfortably deserves a place here, definitely. Number 3, Paul Scholes. Now, a lot of you might not be happy with the fact Paul Scholes ranks relatively lower on this list, but I think Paul Scholes was a very, very good midfielder, don't get me wrong, but I always stick to what I said in the fact that Paul Scholes was never really talked about when he actually played, in my opinion, from Manchester United fans until he actually retired. But no doubt Scholes was a brilliant Manchester United midfielder. He scored some cracking goals, never forget that one against Barcelona that he scored in the Champions League semi-final in 2008. But yeah, I mean, I'd say he definitely deserves a place very high in the list, but there's 2 players I do think were better I'm going to get to in a moment. But yeah, take nothing away from Scholes. He was an excellent midfielder, and him being third is not a disservice to how good I really think he was. Number 2, Frank Lampard. Now again, a lot of you, after not putting Scholes at number 1, would probably have expected me to put Lampard at number 1, but I did really like Frank Lampard. Had days at West Ham, Chelsea and Man City. Undoubtedly his best days were at Chelsea. Everyone knows that. And yeah, I mean, as a goal-scoring midfielder, I think there's very few will ever compare to Frank Lampard. Frank Lampard near enough has a strikers ratio. Yeah, I mean, just excellent, ready to watch. And I think Lampard thrived under any manager, but for me, under Carlo Ancelotti, especially in that 09-10 season, he was absolutely brilliant. That, for me, was the season where Lampard really was at his peak of his powers. But Lampard at Chelsea was always brilliant. He scored for 2 goals to win them their first Premier League title in 50 years away at Bolton. And yeah, Lampard just continued, scored in some big games as well, including the Champions League final in 2008. Yeah, it's difficult to really say anything bad about Frank Lampard and how good the man really was. And obviously he started his managerial career, and that looks like as well that could be a success if he keeps up the standard. But what a Premier League midfielder Lampard was. Brilliant. Number 1, Steven Gerrard. Now, obviously I personally was always a huge fan of Steven Gerrard, and there wasn't really much bad to say about Gerrard, to be honest with you. And it's easy to forget Lampard and Scholes played in better teams than Gerrard. I think that's why I always say Gerrard, for me, was the more superior out of the two, because Gerrard just gave Liverpool so many amazing moments. Of course, Gerrard had his unfortunate moments, such as we all know, the slip against Chelsea and getting sent off in 38 seconds against Man United in 2015. But Steven Gerrard was absolutely brilliant. I mean, it's just the way he carried Liverpool. He elevated Liverpool teams from some mid-table to top 4 and even to title contenders in a couple of seasons. But absolutely love Steven Gerrard. Such a reliable player and really the heart and soul of Liverpool for so many years. So that's why I put him at number 1. And some of the great goals he scored in his career, and he's so many big game moments as well. Yeah, can't respect Gerrard anymore, to be honest with you. It was tough choosing between Gerrard and Lampard, in my opinion. I did find that hard, but I'd just give the edge to Steven Gerrard. And Gerrard was never as bad for England as what people said either. I mean, he certainly didn't hit the heights of his playing career, but never as bad as what he was as what people said he was. But yeah, so that's my list. If you change anything, please let me know in the comments below. Please like, share and subscribe, and I'll be back soon with more content. Thank you for watching.